In this video, I'm going to make a city that is designed purely for profiting off poor, innocent people, taking their hard-earned dollars with unequal fiscal policy measures and other shady tactics I had lined up. My only goal is to make a cash machine in the form of a city and nothing else. So, 700,000 is what our starting money seemed to be. I've never played a city in this game without unlimited money, so I had no clue what I was doing. 700,000 though? It seemed a bit high, but I didn't bother to question it since it was free government money, so I got building straight away. So, some humble residential and commercial just to start off, and a single park. Right off the bat, we ran into problems. Demand was lackluster. It took a while, but very cautiously, people did slowly trickle into the new city. And my citizens, well, they demanded the essentials. Water and sewage naturally, but power, this was gonna eat in our profits, so it's dirty coal power for now. Immediately, my attention was diverted to the spreadsheets, as I needed profits fast. Even with the increased taxes, I still wasn't making any money, so I had to lower the money spent on services. Who needs that fancy stuff anyway? I zoned some industry since I thought this was probably our best bet at sucking money out of people. I could force these companies into near bankruptcy, and right as they were about to move out, I'd just lower taxes and make them happy again and they'd stay, and then later on, crank them right back up. And my citizens, well, they were surprisingly not as stupid as I thought, so no need for elementary, but we'll skip right to high school and university. This was a pricey endeavor, but I thought it was well worth it. After all, the more knowledge you have, the more money the government takes from you. I'm not dense though, you see. I'm frugal. School budgets, as you can see, were immediately slashed, cutting our costs in half. Soon, crime was running rampant through the streets, again deterring tax-paying citizens from moving in. I was forced to build a police station, and I just threw in a clinic as well. No fire station, no need, I thought. Why spend money on an expensive fire department when they just sit around all day, doing nothing, waiting for a fire? I'll just let the building burn itself to the ground, or even a whole block, much cheaper and kinder to the budget. And at least what I was paying for was being used, though. Police cars, as you can see, were en route attending gruesome and brutal murders. I started then to expand the city more. Dirt roads, of course, cheap to build, cheap to maintain. Then, inevitably, a fire broke out. I considered building a fire station, however, I knew it was not for this city. So I just let the building burn right to the ground. The residents of the building were running to police stations because that was all they knew to get them to put out the fires. But the police just shrugged their shoulders and said, "Nothing we can do." As the city went on, more of people's needs needed to be taken care of. Garbage piling up was becoming a large problem. Nowhere to put it, so burn it, I said. So I placed an incinerator, and that was that. I soon came to the realization that no one wanted to live in the new zones I was building. So I spoiled my citizens with playgrounds galore. Well, one playground. It seemed to work though. The city treasury though were scrambling to find a solution to the constant loss of money. So the second step in my plan, become incredibly wealthy off these people by tax manipulation. I would constantly adjust taxes throughout the life of the city to keep it at a balance where people and businesses will move in, and I will screw them just enough on the edge of them moving out, just so they won't want to. This system seemed to work well. Soon, people were moving into luxury penthouse apartments, and I was making sweet profits. I then decided to raise taxes a bit more, hoping nobody would notice. Well, things were good in the penthouses for the rich. On the street level, it was not. Semi-trucks seemed to enjoy cutting off donut vans, and dust was being kicked up constantly. This inspired me to give the city a name. I named it Gary, after Gary, Indiana, which is what it reminded me of. Soon, again though, our budget was stagnant. A steady $7K a week didn't seem too bad, but remember, the goal of this city is to turn a profit and nothing else. This comes into play as I noticed some significant amounts of oil in the ground just outside of the city proper. So, to gather money and fund these new oil fields, I lowered money for services. I didn't want to have to pay for it after all. The citizens were good, so I sculpted out a few roads, and done it was. oil country. Using tricky fiscal policy techniques and government corporate lobbying, I tricked oil companies to relocate to my city, and I made sure to take my cut of the earnings. Being a mayor and an oil baron, this is how I would make my fortune. To make my fortune, I would take 29% of the oil company's profits, which would not go back to the city. Oh no, this would go right into my pocket. And I wasn't worried about the industry being overtaxed, but what I did worry about is that the oil barons were not happy with the amount of money I was taking. I was thinking long term, so I lowered taxes on them again, just enough to trick more to move in so I could embezzle, collect taxes later on. Things overall, though, were going well. With my new dirt road strategy, I could grow the city at a very fast rate. Things were growing so fast that garbage processing capacity was in the red. So, what did I do about it? Well, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And here, you can see the dirt roads in action. I'm sure people had dust lung or something from all the fine particles in the air. And then, I left the office and fooled around at street level for so long, greeting citizens doing charity work, many things to benefit the city, that I forgot I raised taxes to the max level, and the city was completely abandoned. I thought about starting a new city, but I'm no quitter. Where to start, though? Thanks to the massive population drop, the budget took a massive downward spiral. Negative 12,000 a week. Drastic measures had to be taken. Then, I had a brainwave. We'll charge people to enter the city with tolls, and even tolls to pass through it on the freeway. And of course, prices will be put to the max. With a few modifications to the budget, we were back right on track. Starting with the rebuilding of the city, oil country was my very first priority to get back on track. It was abandoned and out of resources, so I expanded it to the west, and somehow, being very frugal, I soon hit $1 million in the treasury. This, though, did take a long time. Still, though, we had no fire department. Buildings and people's livelihoods were being burned straight to the ground. People again ran to the police for help, but again, they just shrugged their shoulders and said, "Nothing we can do." The profits now, though, were insane. I managed to have a city of 14,000 people and an income of 26 grand a week. My goal was to get to $2 million from the citizens and the oil companies to pay me huge dividends. Then it happened. I had the $2 million. I was planning on embezzling the money for myself, if I'm being honest, and leaving the city in ruins. However, I had a better idea. I had enough to build the city of my dreams. First, I need an area, and the perfect location was just over here. First, I'm going to encircle my city with freeways and add a complicated but efficient amount of junctions to negotiate traffic smoothly. Then I need roads. This time, I had the capital for some proper concrete roads instead of those dusty dirt roads the original city had. I constructed an elaborate grid of one-way streets and cross streets to get traffic around the city, and on and off ramps to the freeway wherever possible. Then I gave future citizens healthcare, fire, police, schools, parks, and other luxurious buildings. Then, as my dream was being enjoyed by the citizens, a shift in the earth happened just off the coast, creating a massive wave. There was nothing I could do about it but watch in horror as my dream city was about to be destroyed. But I was smart. I, the mayor, prepared for an incident like this, so I transferred all the city's money into my Cayman Island bank accounts, and I fled, leaving the city to die alone. As I looked out of the window of my private jet fleeing the city, I could see many lives being destroyed. And that was that. The city was over. I ended up making a lot of money, and I, the mayor, built a dream city and escaped with millions. So, I'd say overall, this was a success. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.